Hello there, it's Christine, and I'm so excited to be here, and I'm excited for you to be here. Because if you're watching it, I don't know if you're watching it live or watching it recorded, but I want to share something with you that has completely impacted my life in a positive way, and I know it will for you as well. And so I'm going to hold on here for a minute. It's 11:29, and I told everybody to come on at 11:30. Uh, but today I want to, this is going to be a short and sweet message. And again, it's going to be something that if you stay tuned, I promise you that this will positively impact your relationships. It will positively impact the results that you get, because ultimately everything comes back to how we communicate. The words that we say are huge. And so, again, I'm Christine Roberts, and I am the CEO and founder of Create Your Best Life. I've worked in culture and leadership with Disney and John Maxwell as a leadership consultant, company culture strategist. And I just love people. I'm also a certified life coach and provide coaching programs and do speaking engagements. And I'm just into human behavior and why we do what we do. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about the words that we use. You know, I grew up near Canada, and I grew up in a house that had been vacant for a long time. It was kind of really dilapidated. Uh, my father was an alcoholic. There was domestic violence. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. And when I was a kid, I remember sweeping the sidewalk at our broken down house and saying, "This will not be my life." I mean, it's really interesting because, wow, I'm getting choked up here, but I look back at that little girl and I look at my life now, and I'm so thankful and grateful. And it's like, I don't know why. When I was 10 years old, I just remember it so vividly, but I was determined to change my future. And just like you, regardless of where you are today or where you came from, you are worthy and deserving of all the abundance life has to offer. And where you came from does not, or where you are today doesn't determine what you can achieve in your life. And so I came down to Georgia. I drove my little Nissan Sentra with no air conditioning to Hotlanta, and I was selling copiers, paper shredders, and fax machines, going door to door in the heat of Georgia. And I really think that people bought from me because I was so pathetic. I would literally be drenched in sweat. And but that's when I started my journey of personal development. I mean, I literally would listen to, like, those cassette tapes is kind of sharing my age, but I would listen to tapes from Tony Robbins, Dr. Vincent Peale, Zig Ziglar, and I would literally spend my money on investing in these things. And one of those tapes that I listened to was a series. It was by Dennis Waitley, and it was called The Psychology of Winning. And The Psychology of Winning was all about how our brains work, and that when we hear things, it's like we get messages. And one of the key things is to only focus on what you want. So I want to give you an example. In this example, it talked about when you're trying to teach something, or you're asking somebody to do something, or you want a certain desired behavior. If you only focus on communicating what you want, then the way our brains work, the receiver who gets that, who you're asking, that's all that they have to work with. And when we focus on what we want, then we get the results that we want. So, for example, the example that he used in his tapes was, you've got a baseball game, and the score is tied. There's 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitcher's at the mound, the catcher's there, and this one last pitch is going to determine everything. And the coach goes out to the pitcher and he says, "Whatever you do, don't throw it high and outside." What do you think he did? Yeah, he threw it high and outside, because his brain, that's what he got. Whatever you do, don't throw it high and outside. And his brain only heard throw it high and outside. Now, what if he would have said, "Whatever you do, throw it in the box, throw it in the box"? Then all his brain would have had to focus on was doing the behavior that he wanted. And this translates into everything. For me, the way that I've leveraged that is, and it's like when I had children, this was huge. So anybody out there who has children, or anybody, any relationship, this is, but it was really evident. I felt like when I had kids, they were like a test lab for human behavior, right? Here's some examples that you probably can relate to. Little kids. Have you ever heard somebody say, "Don't touch that. Don't throw that on the floor. Don't run"? What do? They throw their food on the floor. They touch that. They don't listen because all you're doing is telling them what not to do. I want you to shift this. And this works. I've tested it. I have this in my home. You say, "Keep your food on your tray. Keep your food on your tray. Keep your food on your tray." Guess what? That's all the messaging that person gets. Instead of saying, "Don't touch that," say, "Keep your hands to your side. Keep your hands to your side." Instead of saying, "Don't go upstairs," or, whatever, you say, "Stay in the living room. Stay in the living room." Instead of, "Don't hit your brother," you say, "We treat each other with kindness and respect. We treat each other with kindness and respect." I'm telling you, it is such a paradigm shift in how you will get results. Anything that you want, if you only focus on the behavior that you want. Here's another one. I was at my kids' soccer game. This was when they were little, and they're running, and the coach says, "Don't stop." What do you think they did? They stopped. I said, "Oh my gosh, no." Say, "Keep running, keep running, keep running." Focus on what you want. Focus on the behavior that you want. And the way our brains work is that's the information they get. When you're trying to teach something, only teach what to do. It's not necessary to point out all the stuff not to do because they probably it wouldn't have occurred to them. And I see this in so many aspects of life. It's like so prevalent. I want to have this awareness for you to think about when you're noticing things. Our culture, we are downloaded with so much negative stuff that most of our communication is in the negative tense. When we're communicating, we're constantly using negative messaging, but we don't realize it because it's just a way of communicating. So here's the thing. I hope that this has resonated with you. And I hope that when you're speaking to your employees, your children, your husband, your anyone in your any relationships that you have, when you're speaking to anyone, here's the things I want you to do. I want you to raise awareness to your language. I want you to pay attention to what you're saying and raise awareness to your language. And then I want you to shift it. And when you're going to say something, think about what you're saying and just be sure that you're shifting it to only focus on what desired behavior you want. Only focus on what you want. And this really applies for everything too. It's even in your life. I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't want a guy that is rude or mean," or "I don't want a drinker. I don't want it." And then guess what they end up with? They end up with all the things they don't want. And this, so besides the language, our thinking and our thoughts, when we're putting out what we don't want, and that's all we think about, that's what we attract. So what language that you're using when you're asking or communicating with people, shift it into the only asking and focusing what you want. And also how you speak to yourself. How you speak to yourself and what you want in your life. I want you to focus only on what you want, and just all the other stuff, throw it out. Just don't even acknowledge it. So I hope that has helped you. If, sometimes these are the things that can keep us stuck. And I just want to invite you. I'm going to be doing a launch next week. We have a program coming out. It's called Create Your Best Life coaching program. It's a 12-week program. And right now I'm seeing clients that are having incredible results. We have a gold and a silver program. And this program is designed to help you, if you feel stuck, it's about taking control of your life, prioritizing what's most important to make confident decisions to move your life and your career in a positive direction in as fast as 30 days without wasting time. And so if that is something of interest, if you feel stuck, listen, there's a scripture and it talks about we are strong in our weakness. So many times if you're a go-getter person, you feel like you don't want to ask for help, but I'm telling you, I see amazing results from people who don't want to waste any more time in their life being stuck. So reach out to me and schedule a call. If you go to the website, christinemroberts.com, and there's a scheduling link for a free consultation, please, please, please do not hesitate. Give me a call and let's create our best life. And I want to wish you the best until next week. And post to me, what are some of the things, either DM me or comment on this if you're watching this later. What are some things, what resonated with you, and what are you going to apply? And I will look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day.